I know during that mood matrix she's gonna see something key, like with one of the emotions or something.
April 18th, 9:15 a.m. District Court courtroom. This court defendant lobby number 3.
He's thinking clearly. You okay, Athena? You've been really antsy ever since we got here. Oh, by the way, before we do this, do we want to do the theory thing real quick?
Well, we're pretty sure we know we obviously know who it is. The cutscene at the beginning of the game showed us. I don't know why they had to show that to us.
Yeah.
But very obviously it's Mr. LaBelle.
Yeah.
Had some kind of thing to keep Phineas quiet.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll probably kill dressed as the yokai, ran past her to create help create an alibi for him.
Yeah.
It's like it's just all a really weird setup.
Okay, here's my thoughts. All 3 of them are pro wrestlers.
Yeah, I could see LaBelle being a pro wrestler. That would help him having his own brand because he's a famous person with their own brand.
Yeah, he's a famous person selling cologne. He has his own little sideshow, right? As to why he'd be opposed to the merger, I don't think it has anything to do with the merger more than it has to do with some sort of storyline. But if he's like, say, third in the company, you get rid of the top 2, you become the top dog, right? Mm-hmm. That could be one motive. I think that nobody was in that suit, and you ever see like all the line work and needlework that goes through wrestling, right? I think that camera, they know where that camera's placed. I think both him and Filch know where it's placed.
Oh, they 100% know.
Filch is the one who pointed out the mask that fell out, and he's trying to say that the wrestler jumped off the cliff, right? And they're going to say Taro flew out and he's gone from the scene, right? I think that entire suit is empty upon being sent in. And it's
and you think the newspaper one is like there's some kind of trick they used to make it go flying?
Yeah, I think it's just a bunch of like wrestling equipment on like a tether, you just send that thing out and it goes, wee! Right? Because that, I think our handsy grabby dude has the blackmail letter, Filch. I think the circled program is kind of the signal for something, if you know what I mean, right? I think we're gonna screw up whose alibi by asking him what was on the wrestling program. Yeah, real ball of excitement she is. Those are my thoughts. I know just what she needs. Athena. Did you ever learn about indoor and outdoor voices?
Nope.
I'm just trying to show you the best way to relieve your pre-trial jitters. By scaring the daylights out of me? No, I find that shouting, I'm fine in a loud voice, really relieves stress. It's part of my Chords of Steel voice workout. It must be a must before every trial. Want me to shout here? That's right, here. I'll go first, then you try. I'm Apollo Justice, and I'm fine. Alright, I'm Athena Sykes, and I'm fine. I think that actually worked.
Oh, good grief.
Thought it might help. Always works for me. Did she say that before the first trial?
I don't remember.
An old friend of mine from junior high and I say it all the time. I see a proven remedy to calm the soul. I like it. Hey, how about we finish off with a race around the courthouse? Oh, God. The point is to relieve stress, not get totally exhausted.
Oh, hi, Phoenix. What's this all the racket, you two?
Ah, Mr. Wright.
Wait, where's his badge?
In his pocket? Or, yeah, it's gone. What the hell?
Yeah,
Well, he's not acting as a lawyer today, right? So
he still would wear it around, right?
Yeah, just a little voice workout. Hey, what's with the suit?
Oh, this? I was thinking about getting my attorney's badge back after. Oh, so he hasn't gotten it back yet. So between this case and the bombing case, he gets it back.
Yeah. So his first case is probably the bombing case then.
Well, Poker, we were never explicitly told when he got it back.
Yeah,
We weren't explicitly told, but like in the last case of this game, he had it. So like we just assume after the events of the previous game, he was given it back because it was proven that he had nothing to do with the forged evidence. Therefore, revoking his badge wasn't his fault. Was not something they should have done. He was done right.
Don't worry, another slice of cake won't hurt you. That's all, if that's huge news, but why now?
I have a feeling I'll be needing it in the courtroom again sometime soon. We could talk about that another time.
No fair, inquiring minds want to know. But wow. I'm so used to him in his usual laid-back clothes. That suit makes him look like $1 million.
By the way, have you heard about the prosecutor assigned to this case?
Yeah, he's serving time, but before that, he was a prosecutor. He also uses psychology.
That's right. I've heard the rumors about how he was back before his conviction. Using the powers of suggestion, he can make even the most stalwart defendants confess.
Technology in the courtroom. Been hearing a lot about that lately. So he must be a pretty scary guy, considering he's a prison inmate and all.
So they say. They also say
Oh,
he'll cut you down if you talk too much.
Fuck, I know he's gonna be bad news.
It's probably just a hyperbole. At least I hope for your sake.
Wait, so is it true or not?
Let's just say you should be concise and choose your words carefully. If you'd like to keep that head of yours attached to the rest of your body, that is.
Yikes. Better tell me all my cards of steel, too.
So are you ready? Might be a good idea to check the court record again before stepping into the ring. Nah, we're fine.
Right, Mr. Wright, but I'm fine.
I'll be watching from the gallery. Good luck.
Thanks. Okay, let's do this. The odds of pulling this off are ridiculously low, but that's nothing new. Believe in our clients, seek the truth. That's all we can do. You see, the mood matrix for me is now becoming like the scrub debate of the case. I'm just waiting for the music.
Yep.
Hang in there, Mayor Tenma. Here comes justice.
Or you mean a jury questioning? Because scrum debate is Danganronpa.
Yeah, but it has the same, like, it's that time, that type of feel. You know what I mean? Yep. It's that one activity you like to do in a case. All right. I gotta get my old man voice ready. Court in session for the trial of Damien Tenma. Apollo Justice, defense team leader, is ready, Your Honor. I know that big booming voice anywhere, as chipper as ever, eh, Mr. Justice? But who is the young lady next to you? I'm Athena Sykes, Mr. Justice's junior partner and fresh out of law school. Well now, full of beans too, eh? Excellent. Makes an old man feel young again. Now for the prosecution.
Where is he?
Jail. The prosecution ready yet?
Never fear, I shall explain. It's just a minor procedural complication, Your Honor. Prosecution for this case is being escorted from prison as we speak.
Prison? Oh yes, of course. I almost forgot that he is currently serving time. Oh Lord.
Prosecutor Blackwell's an inmate.
What the?
But even a convicted murderer still got a job to do and duties to perform.
What?
Good luck, Shiro. Oh, the edge!
He's getting a barrack voice, by the way.
Yeah, do it. Oh, Lord. Who's that with his back to us over there?
Apollo, come on.
That's him, I'm sure of it. Prosecutor Blackwell. Ahem, is the prosecution ready?
Enough of this jibber jabber. Get on with it already.
Oh, of course, forgive me.
Well, Barracks was in the deep. He had a little bit more of a sound there. I need to try to get back into the Barrack voice.
Why are all the people related to this case so scary? Oh, what's the matter?
Must we continue to fritter time away like this? It is all right there in indictment. An opening statement would be pointless.
Pointless, so, well... Looks like the cat or the case and the prosecutor has the judge's tongue. But we need an opening statement. It's an overview of the case at hand.
Well then, your baldness. If it is so very important, why not you do the honors?
Me?
There's a term for the people who whine and fuss about how they need silly, useless things. And then decide they no longer want once it's theirs. A selfish old fool.
Wait, was that the prosecutor's opening statement?
Although that such as you are a plague among the young. I pity your poor grandchildren. Or is it great-grandchildren?
All these years I thought the opening statement was the prosecutor's job. But I suppose I could give it a try. Might be a nice change of pace.
Good grief.
Oh, Lord. Actually fell for that? That must have been the power of suggestion Mr. Wright was talking about. The opening statement, huh? Let's see here. The victim was one Rex Cuby, alderman of 9 Tiles Vale. And the defendant, Damien Temna, mayor of Tenmantown, is accused of his murder.
And why, pray tell, was the mayor arrested?
His prints were on the murder weapon. Plus he had a motive, the elimination of the biggest roadblock in the municipal merger. The caretaker and secretary, other potential subjects, both have alibis. And his daughter, who was also in the vicinity at the time of the incident, has no motive.
So, in a nutshell,
I'd have to say the charges against the defendant are incontrovertible.
bravo, your boldness. Your years of experience shine bright like your head.
Ho ho ho, flattery will get you everywhere. He's playing Simon Says with the judge. Moving right along now, let's hear from our first witness for today, Detective Fulbright. Witness, please state your name and occupation.
I'm Detective Fulbright, assigned to this case. Bobby Fulbright. Oh, and I'll also be keeping tabs on old Blackwell here.
I also heard you to provide protection if it ever came to that.
It would seem that I have been sorely underestimated.
Wait, who's protecting who from what?
Are we sure it's a really good idea to have him in here? Are we clear about this? So truly believe anyone can turn their life around. Even old Blackwell here. Fulbright. Save your platitudes for funerals. Get on with your statement. That's the spirit. Justice must be swift and true. I see it in your eyes. Hope is for your rehabilitation and return to society. I will never give up on you.
Investigator Blackwell doesn't seem to intimidate Detective Fulbright. Well, you know what they say, ignorance is bliss. Oh, so that's why they say Detective Fulbright was assigned to Blackwell. He's so oblivious. Now let's have your first statement, Detective Fulbright.
You got it. First, I'd like to say to the defense that justice will ultimately prevail. Yeah, that's the goal here. We obviously want justice to prevail. Alder McCubey was murdered with a spear that had been on the wall. Fingerprints of the defendant, Damien Tema, were found on the murder weapon. At the time, Alder McCubey was asleep from a drug he unwittingly ingested. Mayor Tema attacked his helpless victim, impaling him like a human shish kebab. When the sudden pain jolted the victim awake, he grabbed the statue and struck back.
No.
That last statement's sus.
That's effed.
We don't have an autopsy report yet.
Alderman QB had slipped in some kind of sleep-inducing drug.
He's probably saying this hit, but like, if this was his hit, the injury would be way more severe.
We don't even know what the injury on Taro looks like, right?
It just
But
looks
he's
like a
saying
hit to the head.
Yeah, like, where's his footprints? He has no footprints in that. He couldn't have just gone up to him and hit him. He was asleep too. So,
Oh, yeah.
I already said that.
Yeah, that's right. The accused was scared because Alderman was a former pro wrestler. So he slipped a drug to make sure he'd be out cold and defenseless. Okay, here's the autopsy report. Here's the autopsy report to prove it. Cause of death, stabbed with a spear. Estimated time of death around 3:20. The victim had been in a drugged slumber. Is there going to be more in it?
Yeah, and the victim had managed to attack his attacker despite being impaled by a spear.
It doesn't say if death was instantaneous. That would have been a real quick help.
I think from right there, it's footprints. Because if
Well, we'll press him and we'll see what he says.
how did he fall on his back? Though that's so weird.
Or this could be a wristband.
Even, yeah. Okay.
Did you read
The
this
victim
one?
managed. Yeah, I read it. That sounds almost superhuman. Is it even possible?
Well, he was a former pro wrestler after all. Spear was probably nothing more than a mosquito bite to him.
Objection!
Not so fast. Don't try to brush it all off by saying Alderman had been a pro wrestler. Do you really expect us to believe that he could fight back after being skewered by a spear?
Never heard of an incredible feats of which a man is capable of in a pinch, have you? Like the samurai of yore, wrestlers can battle through the intense pain. It sharpens the senses. I used to talk about it with a former wrestler I met in the clink.
I don't know. It still sounds a little far-fetched.
Does it now? Then perhaps you should test the theory on you with the edge of my blade.
I didn't sign up for this.
That animation looks so much worse in 3D.
It does.
That just looks so much worse.
Doesn't have a knife.
And so your life is spared. For now.
Please let those shackles be made of titanium. I don't want to die.
My investigations are as thorough as they are foolproof. Or my name isn't Fulbright. I vow to resign immediately if I ever make a false arrest. Well, you're about to have to resign, sir.
Bye-bye.
Bye, have a good time. See you, Neville. We're gonna see him in the next chapter, aren't we? Bye. Have a good time. The accused prints were on the weapon, and he's the one person without an alibi. Quite decisive evidence, wouldn't you agree, Your Boldness?
The defendant is sounding guiltier by the minute. He has the judge leaning toward a guilty verdict, and the trial's just barely begun.
What's more, a curious rumor about the accused is making the rounds. They say he seeks the merger for the purposes of freeing Tremotaro from his imprisonment. Truth be told, I can think of no real reason to show interest in that backwards burg. Perhaps he's complete nutter and really doesn't seek to release an imaginary demon. Either way, he is raving mad and more than capable of murdering the alderman.
Order, there will be no gossiping in my court.
Your Boldness, please take a gander at those charms plastered around his cranium. I hear them meant to keep him safe from possession by the demon Tamataro. Then again, perhaps he's already under the demon's spell. Behold, the lunatic appears poisoned to lunge at you at any moment.
Eep. The rumors and quirks of Maritima have no relevance to this case. Besides, those charms on his head, they're just a fashion statement, I think. Come to think of it, those things don't seem relevant to the case, do they? The prosecution will refrain from dragging our client's reputation through the mud.
Oh, what a dreadfully fearsome lass we have here.
Thanks for that lifeline, Athena. Careful, Apollo. He has a judge dancing in the palm of his hand. You're getting angry. The power of suggestion is one of the more powerful tools in Simon Blackwell's arsenal. He's trying to manipulate everyone's impressions to suit his objectives. This guy really is bad news. In any case, it seems the victim did manage to defend himself despite being impaled. What sort of weapon did he use against his attacker?
We've already talked about the weapon. It's a spear. Oh, we're talking about the rebound attack.
With.
None other than the statue right here.
It appears to be a statue of two strange creatures locked in battle.
The two yokai, to be exact. The one on the side, the one side is the nine-tailed fox, and the other is Tamataro. Quite interesting if you think about it. It's as if though this very case were rendered in art. Yeah, that is kind of a good point. Well,
no prints.
Alderman's head wasn't bloody, I don't think, but the other guy's was.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Justice, you may proceed with your cross-examination.
All right, I'm going straight to that last statement. I'm pressing that.
Hold it!
Could he really have attacked his attacker after being impaled with such a large spear?
Absolutely. After all, he was once a pro wrestler. The injustice of being drugged and speared was answered with a righteous counterattack.
But does being a former pro wrestler make him superhuman?
Absolutely. After all, he's one of the good guys like a superhero on the side of justice. Even though he's retired, could still don his superior guise in the time of need.
Objection!
You need to lay off the comic books, detective. We're talking about a real life here.
Setting aside the half-wit flights of fancy, the fact is this. The court-ordered post-mortem concluded that the victim moved after his skewering.
So he found the strength somehow to attack his attacker, huh? Detective Fulbright's testimony sounds airtight. No wonder he's so competent.
How would they be able to know he moved after he got stabbed? That seems weird.
Resistance on the wound. So if you get like stabbed and you move,
True.
the blade moves. So chances
But
are he walked.
That
with
also could
these-
be faked if like someone like moves it around in you.
Could or couldn't be, right?
There's not
if
really a
you're
way to
standing
prove.
still and it's pushed in, right? It can go in and out and only at so many degrees angles. But if you're the person holding it, right? It could be that he held it up and there's prints around that, right? Like the victim's own prints were held this way. Like if I'm stabbed like this. I do believe that he did move. I do agree with him. I just don't believe that
The weapon.
he went to where they. I don't believe he made the trail. No, he only thinks it's airtight. It's up to us to poke some holes in it. That part about the alderman fighting back sounds like a big hole waiting to be poked.
So the game's kind of telling us there it is the last statement. Can we disprove that? It's like,
He grabbed. Well, there's no print, so he couldn't grab the statue either.
yeah,
Did he? He didn't have gloves on, did he?
yeah.
No,
There
he
we
can't-
go. That would be it. That would make sense. And he doesn't have gloves on it, so there should be prints.
Objection!
There we go. I was on the track, I swear.
You were on a
Did the
track,
alderman
but you were
check with
wrong.
me?
The prints were on the wrong thing.
I knew there weren't prints there. They weren't. Yeah. Did the alderman really strike the mayor?
What? Are you questioning my sense of justice?
Your so-called justice needs to find itself a pair of legs to stand on. You claim that alderman struck back after the mayor pulled the spear through him. But the statue he supposedly used to defend himself creates a major hole in your theory. It would appear that the defense has a counter-argument. Very well, let's hear what the defense thinks is thought about the detective statue theory. No fingerprints.
It already says in the info. Why do we have to do this?
There are no fingerprints on the supposedly crucial piece of evidence. And if you look at the crime scene photo, no gloves. You'll notice that Alderman isn't wearing gloves. Yes, I believe he's quite gloveless indeed. If he touched the statue with his bare hands, he should have left some fingerprints. Detective Fulbright, you did take that into account during your investigation, didn't you? That's new.
Dude, the songs don't hit as well in this game. They're weaker. Like
Yeah.
this is Apollo's theme remixed from game 1, but the last game's was way better. Ah! This can't be happening. Did I arrest the wrong man?
I know what he's gonna say. I know exactly what he's gonna say. He grabbed that green cloth, and then... You did it, Apollo.
You could say no. He'll say, Mr. Taro took the gloves off.
No, there would be gloves found at the scene, but there is a green cloth there that he could have grabbed with...
Who knows? We'll
He
see.
knocked Detective Fulbright off his high horse. Well, it's just 1 point in our favor. Who do you suppose clubbed the mayor if it wasn't Alderman?
Our third party.
Wasn't Alderman. That means someone else must have clubbed the mayor. You mean there was a third party there in the Fox chamber? Exactly, this could be the break we're looking for. There does seem to be some hole in the prosecution's argument. Prosecutor Blackwell, would you care to respond to the defense's assertion?
He just doesn't. Yeah.
The least you could do is look at me while being dismissive.
Your mind is as dull as an unhorned blade, Justice Dono.
Justice Dono? Been watching too many samurai flicks.
I will take far more than that to cut down Simon Blackwell. A whelp such as you has no hope against my superior swordsmanship.
This is a trial, not a sword fight, Prosecutor Blackwell.
There's a perfectly good explanation for the lack of prints on the statue. There it is. You might recall a blood-stained cloth found at the scene. Well, as it so happens, the blood was the mayor's.
So, what are you getting at?
Hone your mind, boy. Why was there blood on that cloth? Solve the riddle and you shall see the horror that you thought you found was but an illusion.
Let's see. How was that cloth used? Was it used to wrap the statue?
To wrap the statue? Yeah, that seems like what he's going for here.
Maybe the alderman wrapped the statue in the cloth.
But why would he do that? That doesn't really make any sense.
Swingable weapon?
But then if it was swinging, it wouldn't have blood just on the top. That kind of seems weird then.
No, it's coming from his hand, though, right?
Well, I'm talking about the blood stain there. Like, why would the blood be just on that one spot like that? And it's kind of a weird spot too.
That's what I'm worried about, is the weird spot on it. But I'm thinking he's going to say, like, he either swung it or some sort. In short, he wasn't touching the statue directly when he used it to strike back at the mayor.
Precisely. Bully for you, boy.
I was nothing. Apollo, don't let him start manipulating you, too. That's what's happening. You just closed the hole for the prosecution. I did. I did!
Dang it, Apollo. Right. That statue was wrapped in a cloth, would leave no fingerprints, and as plain as day. But there's also proof there's no holes in your theory of the alderman striking back. Can you prove that the cloth was wrapped around it, though? That's just a theory. You can't actually prove that it was wrapped around it.
Proof of the blood, right? So he could assume that the...
Blood was all over the floor. All it has to do is, like, be laying on the floor at some point, and it can soak up some blood.
Oops. Ah!
Now do you see how dull your mind is?
Make sure to sharpen it next time.
A particular frightening inmate once told me that. He always tenderly honed his blades before he went to work, like the samurai of yore.
Samurai sounds more like a homicidal maniac to me.
Actually, he was working in a prison kitchen at the time.
Wait, so the inmate was a murdering samurai prison chef. It would seem that the victim and his killer were the only ones there after all. I was kind of attached to that hole. Now what? Apollo, I just thought of something. If they didn't find anyone's fingerprints on the statue, who's to say someone other than Alderman didn't hit the mayor with it? Why didn't I think of that? Anybody could have not left prints on it.
Then who, pray tell, struck the mayor with the statue? Please illuminate us with your wisdom, young lady.
Only one answer. The real killer.
prove the existence of this real killer then. What evidence have you?
Oh, I'll give you evidence, all right. Athena, are you sure about this? To borrow your words, Apollo, I'm fine. Take a look at this. Black feathers and tracks allegedly from a yokai were found at the scene. I believe they're from the third party who struck the mayor with that statue. Is the defense actually suggesting some sort of monster killed that alderman? That's exactly what I'm suggesting.
Objection!
No, Athena, you just lost what little credibility we had left.
Ah!
I just got carried away. Mr. Justice, we have no time to deal with objections between members of the defense. Sorry, Your Honor. It's just, this kid's still a kid. Ouch. You meanie, I'm reporting this to Mr. Wright.
Go for it.
He's in the audience anyway, so I mean, so this court is to believe the feathers and tracks from a yokai, as you put it. No, Your Honor. I believe they are a fabrication. The real killer wants us to believe some sort of monster murdered the alderman. Interesting. And why do you suppose the killer would do that? Why indeed? Mr. Justice, you seem as new to this as your partner is. Ouch. This I'm not reporting to Mr. Wright.
He's in
Again,
the crowd.
The audience.
Apollo, he told you he's in the crowd. He's in the gallery. Hoy, Fulbright. Explain to his boldness what these brats are missing. You know, the who and why behind those feathers and tracks.
What? You mean you can explain all that?
Investigative power is without equal.
I wonder if they found the suit. Shit, I think I started the wrong profession. Very well, let's hear about these so-called yokai feathers and tracks.
The entire case centers on one man's attempt to crush the opposition in a municipal merger. Mayor Tenma panicked when the amazing Ninetales helped the emboldened and the protesters. So he stoked the villagers' fear by fabricating a monster. The strange feathers and tracks he planted made it look like the yokai was a killer.
Those feathers and tracks stoked the villagers' fears?
Absolutely. Knew exactly how to prey on their superstitious minds. Those feathers only gave weight to the idea that Alderman was slain by a demon. The accursed demon Tenma Taro, is that is?
Who?
Tenma Taro, the legendary demon locked away in the village's forbidden chamber. A young lady, from a young age, the villagers are taught that to fear the great black feathered demon. And thus they were blinded to other, more plausible explanations.
Hold on for a second. Before we start letting our imaginations run wild, isn't there someone else that could be considered a suspect? Mr. Justice, please explain yourself. On the day of the incident, there was a special event held at Kyubi Manor. And as part of this event, there was someone dressed in the likeness of Tenma Taro. Obviously, this person is much more likely suspect than any legendary demon.
Objection!
Yeah, he knows he's him.
Dullard, you are playing right into the killer's mind games.
What?
Listen here. The feathers and tracks were merely a red herring. The villagers believed the
murder to be the work of the real Tenmataro. However, the police believe that the person in a Tenmataro suit is the killer. The defendant sought to sow his confusion in order to deflect blame away from himself. However, he was knocked unconscious by the alderman, and thus our mentally deficient mayor was caught red-handed at the scene of the crime.
Objection!
You honestly believe the mayor of Tenma would do something so stupid?
Objection!
The evidence speaks for itself, Fulbright.
Right. It was the mayor's last-ditch effort to stop the opposition before things got crazy. The amazing Ninetales cat was fueling both the yokai craze and the anti-murder movement. Plus, one of the better-known masked wrestlers and a hometown favorite. That's why Mayor panicked and set out on a passive injustice.
But do the people of Ninetales really believe a yokai is behind the crime?
Yokai sightings are an everyday event there, so I wouldn't be surprised if they did.
I must say, a crime that preys upon the innocent, impressionable minds.
Just so. A particularly silver-tongued inmate once had the following words for me. The innocent of heart are the easiest prey.
You don't say. Was this inmate a con artist?
No. He was framed for the murder of his beloved. I actually felt sorry for the poor chap.
Wait, so he wasn't the predator, but rather the prey? Yes, well... Now the defense may proceed with their cross-examination. I would press all 4 statements.
What's she specifically saying this? Leaving a scene and calling the police. Passed together and been to the hall and was carrying a staff-like implement that jingled. She couldn't call for help because there was no one else in the hall. Oh. We'll get to this later.
Hold it!
Detective Fulbright, is the anti-merger movement really that strong?
Oh, absolutely. The parade around yokai costume shining down was Mayor Tenma. And just the other day, they stormed Tenma City Hall claiming it was a den of vipers.
But when the accused showed his face, the angry mob scattered like leaves upon the autumn wind. For you see, lowly yokai are no match for Tenmataro, the dark lord of their kind.
Wait, are the villagers scared of Mayor Tenma or Tenma Taro? I'm confused.
Yeah.
I think he means Mayor Tenma. It's easy to get the wrong impression about the guy. Detective Fulbright, why do you suppose the defendant would commit such an act?
Mayor Tenma panic when the amazing Ninetales on himself is.
Hold it!
The amazing Ninetales, no one knows his true identity, right?
That's right. He's a lone wolf, or in other words, he didn't belong to a wrestling federation. He appeared like a shooting star, defending one Tenma town wrestler after another. And before anyone knew it, he was a champion. You know, I hadn't put it together yet, but that belt the cat's wearing is the one belt that's hanging up in the room.
It is.
I just now realized that. We would already put it together that he was a fox. We were like, oh wait, that's the belt that was hanging up.
like the samurais of yore, surrounding thick with enemies, he cut down one by one. It was complete and utter loss of face for Tenma Town's pro wrestler. He was amazing. If there ever was a real superhero, it would be him. Dream of becoming a true champion of justice and like him in society someday.
I bet Detective Fulbright would be a great pro wrestler. He could even team up with Prosecutor Blackwell. A police detective and a prisoner in chains. You know, I think people would actually pay to see that. I know I would.
That'd be something else. So you do understand the greatness of the amazing Nine Tails.
Hold it!
Did the murder and yokai evidence really stoke the villagers' fears?
Absolutely. Had an immediate effect. The presumed return of the dreaded Tenmataru had them shaking in their boots.
Oh my, is it really that bad?
That superstitious lot. It's as if Jack the Ripper had been set loose in the village. The mere thought of that demon lurking about is enough to spark mass exodus.
I see. That's a very persuasive argument. The mere thought of his honor buying into Simon the Psycho Slasher's words makes me want to spark my own exodus out of the courtroom right about now.
So you see, it can all be one reason why Anna would plant those feathers in the tree.
Hold it!
But it doesn't add up. What you say is true. Why top it off with murder?
Huh? What do you mean?
You claim that our client planted the yokai evidence to stroke the villagers' fears. If so, then why not stop there? Why murder Alderman Kyubi? Excellent point. It is, isn't it? So Your Honor agrees there was no reason for the murder, correct?
Objection!
Perhaps the killing was on the spur of the moment.
You're saying it wasn't premeditated?
So then this would be a second-degree murder charge then. This wouldn't be first degree, this would be second degree then.
Mm-hmm.
Because second degree is like it wasn't premeditated.
Just happened.
If I recall the definition of second degree correctly.
First degree is premeditated, second degree is upon suddenly, and I believe manslaughter is accidental.
Maybe?
From the
I think
outset.
manslaughter is accidental.
From the outset, I had no intention of paying heed to any of your babbles. However, the fact is, the mayor made a startling discovery.
Startling discovery? Why don't I like the sound of that?
Alderman Kyubi's secret identity.
Apollo!
Black Hole figured it out too.
I think Prosecutor Blackwell has figured out Alderman's secret identity. But even if he has, why would it be a motive for the mayor to commit murder? This is not good.
This patch of fur was discovered at this crime scene. It's from the mask worn by the amazing Nine Tails. Therefore, we can conclude this mask was at the scene of the crime.
Oh my, but why would it have been there?
The victim was a former pro wrestler and a member of the anti-merger movement. Need I say more?
Well, could it really be?
Your partner's had an epiphany, I see.
I love the English.
Our victim, Rex Cuby, was the amazing Nine Tails. And the mayor's discovery of this fact was his motive for murder.
No!
It looks so much worse in 3D.
It does. Order, order! What a shocking development. A motive clearer than crystal clear.
Hey, Madsy.
What do we do now, Apollo? What do we do now, Apollo? I don't think they tie the Alderman's secret identity to the mayor's motive for murder.
Wrong voice.
Oh, I didn't think they tie Alderman's secret identity for the mayor's motive for murder. Didn't we say not to sub? We're supposed to donate to charity?
It's recurring, so Madsy didn't force it to go off. Just sub. All right. What do you think, Earl? Sweet, sour, spicy? What's it gonna be?
Spicy.
Think it'll be spicy?
Yeah.
Sour.
That's sour if I've seen one.
Whoa. Although, to be fair, Madsy has already donated, so Madsy's done pretty good for us.
At last, we've reached my real point.
Oh, I didn't read. I hit the button accidentally.
Why did the alderman have to forge a secret identity? Does it not pique your interest, your boldness?
I admit it does. It is odd that he had to create his other persona. But it's not like he was hiding it, like his stuff was on display.
Yeah.
Just to secretly participate in the anti-merger movement.
Very astute of you, your boldness.
Right. Now take a look at this.
Oh, he has a letter!
Where did he get this? Where did you get this, Fulbright? If you value your dearest life, you'll merge Ninetails Vale and Tenma Town. This blackmail letter was found in Alderman Cuby's pocket. Did you have a search warrant to search this person? Did you have a warrant to do that?
Oh, he's dead, right? So we don't need one. He's a crime scene investigator.
Oh, this was Alderman's pocket. So
Yeah.
Alderman got one too. Wait, they both got the blackmail letter?
I think so.
Uh-oh.
So maybe that meeting was to get them in the same place?
At present, Alderman's wife is in a hospital. And that letter is clear evidence the mayor was blackmailing him by threatening his life.
Wait, didn't the black mayor letter he sent to Mayor Tenma go missing?
Was it just put in his pocket?
Yeah, it doesn't seem addressed, does it?
It's not addressed. So it could have just
But
been
if you-
taken from the mayor and put into Alderman's pocket.
We need to look at the wording again, because that matters. There's either two letters floating around or...
Yeah, that's the same wording the Mayor Taro told us.
Yeah. I think there might be two letters floating around. Right after the Alderman's murder. You think maybe the killer took the letter from the mayor after the murder and planted it into Alderman's pocket? It's possible, but we don't have any proof of that. That's what happened. Well, being up the creek without a paddle.
Mayor Tenma would have made a clean getaway if he'd just left after planning the Yokai things. He was knocked out cold by a sudden decision to kill the amazing Ninetails.
So it was the amazing Ninetales counterattack that brought the entire crime to light. Wait a sec. Fulbright's claiming that the mayor killed Alderman after planting the yokai evidence. And that the mayor was knocked out cold immediately after that?
Yeah, that doesn't add up. This seems weird.
Detective Fulbright, please add to your previous statement to your testimony. Yeah, that's impossible.
Technical save real quick.
Look at the crime scene.
Yeah.
There would be blood on the feathers.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking. Because, like, you look at this, if the feathers were planted first, the blood would be on top of the feathers, not beneath it.
Yeah.
Objection!
Detective Fulbright, your sense of justice is anything but fair.
What's this? You dare question my justice again?
Yes, and I'm going to prove it to you. Take a look at this photo.
Look at this photograph.
Every time I hear it makes me quack. Quack.
Quack.
This is the crime scene photo, and just what does this prove, Quack? It proves when the feathers and tracks were planted.
But I told you, they were planted before the murder. The defendant planted the yokai evidence, then was not knocked out while killing the victim.
But that would be impossible. If you look right here, it's clear where the feathers and tracks were left at the scene. Any of the feathers, really. Aren't you just pointing out to the yokai feathers and tracks, Mr. Justice? Yes, see how the feathers are on top of the blood? And the tracks were made in blood? In other words, the yokai evidence could have only resulted after the murder.
The mayor planted the evidence after killing the alderman.
But you said it yourself, the mayor had been knocked unconscious thereafter. There would have been no time for him to plant any evidence at all. Therefore, there must have been someone else besides the mayor and alderman at the crime scene.
This might be some mistake.
Order, order.
Where's your evidence? You can't possibly have any, can you? We've just proven your statement wrong with evidence, sir.
Evidence? Oh, I have evidence. In fact, I have an eyewitness testimony for you.
You do, but how?
Starting to make sound like Arnold there.
You gotta do it too, Earl. Do it with him.
That? I guess his thumbs are in, but yeah. You gotta make the face too. He's taking this really hard. Mr. Justice. What is this testimony regarding a third party you claim to have? I have it right here, Your Honor. It's a sworn testimony of Mr. Tenma's daughter. The witness, Jinxie Tenma, saw a yokai in the hallway after stumbling upon the scene. It was a demon, Tenma Taro. He's the source of those feathers and tracks.
You idiot. Are you bringing the wild fantasies back into this case? We're over it.
Would somebody please say something? The defense will explain to the court exactly what he means.
You dare to mock this court and justice itself? You're unfit to bear your name, boy. Your boldness
It appears that our defense attorney here is delirious from exhaustion.
Apollo, think of something quick before you're held in contempt of court. What do you think I'm trying to do? Before you decide whether I should step down, please hear me out. Very well, Mr. Justice, I'm all ears, but you better explain yourself well.
And explain yourself good, because, you know, a lot of nonsense happens in this court, and I'm just completely over it.
What was this yokai you were talking about? It's all in the statement here. Jinxie Tenma asserts she saw Tenma Taro. After she discovered the crime scene and called the police. She came around a corner in the hall. It was around here. And she saw Tenma Taro fleeing toward the foyer. The defense asserts that whomever was impersonating this monster is the one who left those feathers and tracks behind intentionally or otherwise. What?
How incredibly unjust! What have I heard? Why haven't I heard about this before?
And the thing is, the prosecution can't discount this because, like, they've already said that she has no motive here. It's like,
Yeah.
like the prosecutor's like, there's no motive for her to kill him. It's like we can trust her
plan.
statements. Like, why would we discount her testimony?
Apollo, the momentum has shifted in a new direction. Good, now let's keep it that way.
Objection!
There it
Objection!
is.
Objection! I'm over your crap, attorney. Little do you realize that the thought of you in the midst of a fray, your sword is broken.
My sword? No, I had one. Big break.
Yeah. Apparently, you didn't get the memo. Kazuma gave Ryunosuke a sword, and apparently that sword's supposed to be in your hands. I don't know.
Are you implying there's a problem with my claim? Wouldn't there be blood prints in the hallway?
Not necessarily.
Consider this. If
Consider
shit.
this. If that yokai impersonator had indeed fled towards the foyer,
How long did I make it without saying your line? Like almost 4 hours? A new record?
Yeah, new record. And I fumbled a few times in that, but still, total overall, you're still losing.
Longer than you today, though. Starts with one step in the other direction.
that fool and that fop would have seen him.
Fool and fop. Oh, you mean Filch and LaBelle. Now that you mention it.
Both Phineas Filch and Florence LaBelle were in the foyer at the time. But they haven't stated that they saw a yokai, have they?
They kind of did. They just like, oh, nope, we're not supposed to talk about that. Nope.
Do you ever consider that yokai was a figment of a scared little girl's imagination?
Why didn't these two see the Tenma Taro impersonator bat spot? Why don't we ask them ourselves?
Summon them. Bring them here. We need to talk.
I was just about to say that myself. No, really, I was. The defense would like to call Mr. Phineas Filch, caretaker of the Cupid Manor, to the stand. I just know that he must have seen something. I suppose we can't ignore the fact that the little girl believes she saw a monster. I trust you have no objections to Mr. Justice's request for Prosecutor Blackwell. I understand that Mr. Filch is enjoying a nap out in the lobby, so he didn't see anything.
I knew that Tanuki was over there fine. But when we captured him, I didn't think he'd end up a witness. Do with him as you will.
Did he just say captured? No, wait. I don't want to know. Very well then. Bailiff, please go wake Mr. Filch and escort him to the witness stand.